Like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have bad luck for the rest of the week. 20 dumbest laws from American states. There are quite a lot of nonsensical laws in the United States. You wouldn't believe how many there actually are. Today, we are only talking about 20 of them. We could discuss nonsense laws for hours, but 20 is more than enough for now. Well, we're ready for a good laugh, so let's go look at them. Number 20. Surprise pizza. In Louisiana, it's illegal to send someone a surprise pizza. Now, we don't personally have anything against somebody sending us a pizza every now and then, but in Louisiana, this is considered harassment. According to Louisiana Revised Statutes, you are sending them goods without their permission, leaving them to pay for something they didn't even want. If you decide to send someone food without their permission, you could be fined $500 or imprisoned for 6 months. So you better make sure you enter the correct address when you order something. Number 19. Bathroom donkey. In Arizona, it's illegal for a donkey to sleep in a bathtub. Sometime in the 1920s, a dam broke, flooding a rancher's home. The donkey he owned had become used to sleeping in an empty bathtub, and so during the flood, it was swept away. The ranchers worked a lot to rescue the animal, but because of this expensive rescue endeavor, Arizona passed the law in 1924 that it was illegal for donkeys to sleep in bathtubs. However, if you want your donkey to stand inside a bathtub, that is still allowed. Your animal just won't be able to sleep inside it. Number 18. Law-breaking psychic. In Pennsylvania, it is illegal to be a psychic. That means if you are a fortune teller in Pennsylvania, you are breaking the law, which is not all that pleasant for people that actually do tarot card readings and fortune telling. In this state, it is considered a misdemeanor if you offer any of the services mentioned in the law for lucrative reasons, aka if you accept money for your services. The reason is that for all they know, you could be making money all day long for lying to people. Makes sense, right? So, unfortunately, if you are in Pennsylvania, you will have to go to a different state to get your palms read. Number 17. No trick-or-treat. In Virginia, it is illegal to go trick-or-treating or participate in any other activity similar to it if you are over the age of 14. Specifically, in Chesapeake City, children over the age of 14 are banned due to mass complaints of teenagers wreaking havoc on Halloween. Things like throwing toilet paper and eggs at people's houses. In the same law, it also states that you can't go trick-or-treating after 8 p.m., and if you are guilty of doing so, you could be charged with a Class 4 misdemeanor. However, this law doesn't prevent parents to go with their children on Halloween. Number 16. Wearing hats in theaters and places of amusement. In West Virginia, hats are banned in theaters and operas. This is quite an old law that just never got changed because no one saw a reason to remove it. Let's face it, sometimes we just want to hide a bad haircut under a hat so no one sees it. Well, even in the case of a bad hair day, you could still be fined $2 to $10 if you wear a hat in the cinema. This law is simply based on the fact that you will obstruct people's view of the show if you wear a hat, which we all generally can agree would be extremely annoying. So, believe us, put down your hat, because no one will remember your bad haircut after you leave the theater. Number 15. Bouncy pickles. In Connecticut, a pickle may not be sold if it doesn't bounce off the ground. Now we're wondering, how many pickles did they throw on the ground to make sure that the good pickles bounced? What a waste of perfectly good pickles! This law went into effect in 1984. 2 men were arrested for having sold pickles unfit for human consumption, though we do not know for sure why they were deemed unfit. Officials tried to discuss a way to check if a pickle was a good pickle, and decided that it was only legitimate if it bounced. The pickles of the 2 arrested men did indeed not bounce. The goods that these people sold ended up being destroyed. Those men must have been in a real pickle. Number 14. Eating chicken. In Georgia, it is illegal to eat chicken with anything but your bare hand. This law goes specifically for Gainesville in Georgia. This city is considered the poultry capital, and people are very serious about the way that their chicken is eaten. Though most people say that this law is mainly a publicity stunt, people have been arrested for eating chicken the wrong way. We kid you not. The most famous person that was apprehended? Colonel Sanders. Mr. KFC was arrested for eating fried chicken with utensils instead of with his hands. You would think the king of chicken would know better. Number 13. USA Anthem. In Massachusetts, it is illegal to only play a part or half of the national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. If you are somewhere in a public setting and only play half of the anthem, you could get a fine of $100. The same goes for trying to alter or remix the anthem to make it your own. If you do this, you could also get a fine. Massachusetts takes the U.S. anthem seriously, and they believe that you should too, so you better play it whole. Number 12. Picking up seaweed. In New Hampshire, it is illegal to pick up seaweed off the beach after the break of dawn. So basically, as soon as the sun goes down, you are not allowed to take away seaweed. So if you are planning to collect seaweed at night in New Hampshire, think again, because you would be violating the law. No one knows for sure where this law came from, but it is rumored that in colonial times, seaweed was used as a fertilizer and was a material that had valuable uses. However, nothing in the law states that you cannot pick up the seaweed during the day. Number 11. Sandwich shops. In Arkansas, it is forbidden to honk your horn anywhere near a sandwich shop after 9 p.m. Now, we can imagine how this law came about, but it is unknown when this rule came into effect. The law just states, no person shall sound the horn on a vehicle at any place where cold drinks or sandwiches are served after 9 p.m. Alright, easy enough. If you still decide to honk at a sandwich store, you will not only be disturbing the peace, but you will still be hungry in the end. Number 10. Couch fires. In Colorado, it is illegal to keep couches or armchairs on your porch. This law came into effect after the University of Colorado was caught burning couches in their vicinity. After that incident, it was made official that it was illegal to have any upholstered furniture outside. Not only that you can't have it on your porch, but it is also forbidden to store a broken armchair in your backyard. To be exact, any yard is forbidden. Front yard, backyard, side yards, and the list goes on. We don't actually know if this law prevented any couch bonfires or not, but we sure hope so. Number 9. Animal parking fees. In Florida, you are legally obligated to pay parking fees for when you get off of your animal. According to the blog Country Living, this law came about in the 1920s when the Ringling Bros Circus moved its winter show operations to Florida. No matter if you are on a horse, a camel, or an elephant, you will still have to pay your parking fees if you intend to leave it somewhere. We are asking ourselves, how do we pay this fee? Do we still go to a parking meter and get a ticket that we can stick to the animal's forehead? We don't know, do you? If yes, let us know in the comments below. Number 8. Living on a boat. In Georgia, it is illegal to live more than 90 days on a boat in one calendar year. Apparently, this law came about when complaints from residents reached the officials concerning the houseboats floating along the rivers. The residents found these boats ugly and were concerned about what effects the boats would have on the environment. For years, there was only a 30-day allowance, but they relaxed this restriction a little. This was especially tough for boaters from Florida, who sailed north to escape hurricanes. Many didn't even bother to stop and sailed straight to South Carolina, which doesn't have restrictions like these. We wonder though, how does Georgia's police force enforce this law? Wouldn't there be too many people in boats to keep track of? Number 7. Culinary students. In Illinois, it is illegal for underage culinary students to drink alcohol. Now, why it would be illegal for underage people to be drinking alcohol makes sense, right? But what if you are a culinary student and are expected to learn how to taste wine correctly? That is a bit more complicated. That is why in 2012, they passed a law nicknamed the Sip and Spit, which allows people under 21 to legally taste alcoholic beverages. If you, as a culinary student, decide to swallow it instead of spitting it out, you or the person you were instructed by could be fined $2,500. So it is really not worth it to swallow that sip of wine. Number 6. Throwing something onto the highway. In Iowa, you are not allowed to throw a brick onto the highway. Yep, you heard that correctly. They had to specifically make a law that forbids you from throwing something onto a street. This should be common sense, right? Well, it seems a lot of people were throwing things onto the streets. Not only should this law not exist because it should be common sense, but there is also another thing about this law that doesn't make sense. The law states you are not allowed to throw something onto the road without the city council's consent. So, does that mean somebody can throw something onto a highway with written permission? And does that also mean that you would be able to get a permit for this? Number 5. Tires. In Kansas, you are not allowed to ride around with screeching tires. This one is like our number 11, where you weren't allowed to honk at a sandwich shop because you'd be disturbing the peace. It is basically the same with this one. If you are screeching your tires in Kansas, you are not only breaking the law, but it is also a terrible sound for anyone listening. If you break this law, you could be fined $500 and possibly be imprisoned for up to 30 days. You better make sure that your gears are greased and your tires checked. Number 4. Marrying. In Kentucky, it is illegal for a woman to marry the same man 4 times. Clearly, if a woman divorces and marries the same man a 3rd time, she isn't making any good decisions by the 4th marriage. Hopefully, the saying "3rd time is the charm" is really true in this situation. As long as you are not marrying the same man, you can marry as often as you like, as there is no law against that. Why do you think Kentucky established this specific law? Number 3. Proposing as a joke. In South Carolina, it is illegal for a man over 16 to propose to a woman and not mean it. Doing so means he's committing a misdemeanor under the Offenses Against Morality and Decency Act. Not sure if that means he will be forced to marry the woman, or if it just means he can't ask for a woman's hand as a way to seduce her. Regardless, if you decide to try joking about a proposal with a woman you are with, you are committing an act of misdemeanor, and could be fined and possibly imprisoned for not more than a year. Better not to try. Number 2. Parking for donuts. In Maine, it is illegal to park in front of a Dunkin' Donuts shop. You do not even know how much the town of South Berwick, Maine loves its Dunkin' Donuts coffee. This law was put in effect because this shop was a huge hotspot for people to go to. And as a result, the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot often turned into a mega traffic jam. The law states that in front of the shop, parking is prohibited at all times. Number 1. A crime within a crime. In New Jersey, it is illegal to wear a bulletproof vest while committing a crime. But committing a crime is already illegal even without the vest, you are now saying. While that may be correct, the logic is that wearing a bulletproof vest may protect the criminal from being apprehended by the police. Therefore, it basically helps you during or after committing the crime. And that means if you have been caught committing a crime, the court will not only charge you for your crime, but also for wearing a vest. And this means if you wore a vest, they will charge you separately, adding to your overall sentence. So, what did you think of these bizarre and ridiculous laws in American states? Believe us, there's hundreds more. This is a topic we may revisit in the future, but for now, let us know what you thought and list some other hilarious laws in the comments. Thanks for watching.